Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for Nerds by Nerds, and today I'm hanging out with Jim Moreno, and we will be talking about geeky and nerdy stuff as we usually do. Jim is a freelance writer, and he's actually got a bunch of other stuff going on as well. He came to my attention when staff writer Doug actually came across one of his Geek and Sundry articles, and he mentioned us in it. And one, I want to thank you for that. We really appreciate it. You know, boosting the signal and spreading the word. So
The
how
geeks
are
got
you?
to stay united, man. Geeks got to stay united.
Truth. So how are you feeling today, sir?
I'm doing well. Got my usual exercise in and my coffee, so everything is good.
Excellent. So, I mean, I'm sure we have a lot of people that follow us. They want to be writers. They want to know how to break in, and we've had several different guests on that do a lot of writing, and I find it really beneficial to them. So, if you'd like to tell your story a little bit, that would be great.
How I got into writing?
Yeah.
Well, I just went into the Army. So you ready to do that? Army will train you. I did right out of high school. I did 10 years with the 82nd Airborne Division from 88 to 98. And I was a air defense infantry. Did that, had some good fun times over there, some memories that will last hopefully the lifetime, some good lessons. And as I was transitioning out from regular Army into National Guard to finish out my last half of my career there, they retrained me in journalism. I became an Army reporter, did some photography, went in to my love for military history and in an official Army capacity there, and did that for 4 years. And coming out, I realized, I've got some skills that I can translate into the civilian force and life, and have been making use of them ever since.
So, first of all, thanks for your service, and second of all,
Happy to do it, man.
how many years did you do in the military?
I did 14 total.
Okay. So they're actually better years to be in the military. Now it doesn't seem like such a great time to be in.
Depends on what you want to do.
Well, if you want to fight, it's an awesome time to be in, apparently.
I never did think, when I went in that I would do that. I had my hopes because I was a brash kind of kid back then. Got to do some things that I wanted to do that didn't think that it would be possible or that I ever would. And then I said, yeah, 10 years is enough. 10 years in the Army in the 82nd Airborne Division is 20, 30 years in the civilian workforce. So I was like, okay, I'm good. I want to get out while my mind and my body are still capable. There's still some other things I want to do. And so I went and got some retraining, and I'm doing it now.
So you've been you've been writing for a while professionally. You also have a couple other things you dabble in. You also have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of content out there. Matter of fact, all the links to find the stuff that Jim's doing are in the description below. You can check that out. Read his articles. Awesome writer. Do you have any One Piece is like your favorite?
Any One Piece is my favorite. No, I really enjoy everything that I write. Um, I love writing. I always have. It's one of those things that when I transitioned from regular Army to the National Guard, it's like they kind of threw it at me. It's like, well, what am I going to do in the Guard? They didn't really have any other jobs other than the combat arms that I was already trained for. It's like, yeah, I want to do something different. And then all of a sudden they said, yeah, we've got this writer job at the National Guard unit up here in Raleigh, North Carolina, at the headquarters. I was like, that sounds like what I want to do. And so I've been able to write on the military history. I've been able to write on war games, combat strategy games, video games, board games, and now I get to writing on Dungeons and Dragons, something that I've been writing for since 1980 when I started playing the game. And everything I write, I love what I'm doing.
So were you inclined to be a writer before you took that? You're like, well, it's something different. I want to do something different, and then fell into it.
Just wanted to do something different. I never thought about being a writer. I just knew that I enjoyed it when I did. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a callus on my finger from from writing Dungeons and Dragons, D&D content way back in the 80s. I just did it all the time. I would take the graph paper and notebooks, everything I could, and just write from the modules that we had, the old adventures, and creating new stuff. I knew I just always enjoyed it, but I never had any idea that I would become one until it happened.
So on your YouTube and your Twitch channel, what kind of stuff are you doing over there?
I enjoy playing video games. I've been playing those since 1977. Pong was my first video game, the arcade way back then. And but I really enjoy the role-playing aspects, developed through my love for Dungeons and Dragons. I get deeply immersed into my video games. I like to become the character of whoever I'm playing, or deep into whatever world I happen to be in, and it's all about the things that I can't personally do, considering the time that we live in here in the age and stuff. And so most of my stuff is deeply immersive. My channel is called Jimmersion, so that hopefully we'll be able to give an aspect to people of what they can expect when they're watching my channels and stuff. But also do strategy games. I've done some war games on there. I'm not really much of an entertainer because most of my mental aspects go into writing. But I do like to just get deeply immersed and try to share that same immersion feeling through the way I'm playing video games to whoever might be watching.
So what are you playing now? What's what's your favorite? Where's your jam at?
Oh, let's see. I'm always Skyrim, always Fallout 4. Those are the ones that I'm probably most deeply immersed in now. And I've got The Secret World, Lord of the Rings Online, Elder Scrolls Online. I'm deeply immersed into those. I'm going through Civilization Beyond Earth. I've got a campaign running through that now. I'm also dabbling in, I just bought from Good Old Games the Medal of Honor War Chest, Allied Assault. So I'm running through that again. And I'm also going through the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which I've never played.
Yeah, I actually gave up video games a while back. I just don't have a spot for it in my life right now between family and Nerdarchy, and before there was also the day job as well. And I found the problem for me was it would just suck me in. It was just a huge time sink.
Yep. Well, I live here alone. I'm a single guy. I don't have any other commitments, no family or anything like that. So it's Dungeons and Dragons, my video games,
Awesome.
and then all my friends who live on my computer. that's who I have. So.
Well, that is the cool thing about being in this day and age and being a gamer is, all the friends that we have that aren't like right here where we're at, but all over the world, really.
Yeah.
So you said
I live out here in the frigid wastes of South Dakota, and I'm pretty much the only geek that I found out here the last two and a half. What am I been here? 3 years now, almost 3 years. Well, I don't have a friendly local gaming store. I haven't found anybody that plays D&D. No other video gamers. So, got to do something.
Well, have you tried playing any games online as far as?
Yeah, I play on games.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm in a D&D group. We play every other Saturday, so every 2 weeks. We're going through the Curse of Strahd right now.
Are you a player or a GM?
I'm a player right now. Yeah.
When you GM, do you prefer pre-written stuff or you prefer homebrew?
I prefer homebrew. Yeah, I prefer to experience or to get my gamers into going experiencing a world that comes out of my head, just like my writing. But nothing against modules or pre-written or anything like that. There's some excellent ones out there. But I like the creating part and then the sharing of that creating part.
I have to agree with you 100%. And I also have like a selfish reason for preferring homebrew over written material. I feel like homebrew is easier and faster for me to
Yeah,
produce
yeah,
than reading through someone else's work and figuring out how to rework it into my table and to my players and things like
yep.
that.
Yeah, from those you have to put your mindset into whatever the writers were trying to figure out or to portray in that module. When you create your own stuff, it's already in your head. You know, the mindset is already set. So all you got to do is just share it, and yeah, that's much more enjoyable for me.
I think Paul in the chat is commiserating with your nerd wasteland.
Uh, Join us, man. Join us. I can use some company, believe me.
um, you said you were coming up on an anniversary before we went live, pretty much, right?
Yes, I've got at least one that I'm aware of. If I think about it, I've probably got a couple others. I just passed a few, so
So, you're coming up on a year of writing for Geek and Sundry,
yep.
which is pretty impressive. I'm sure there's a lot of writers who would like to see their name on that website.
I think so. As far as I'm, concerned and aware, we're one of the, if not the premier geek website out there. You know, we've got, of course, the Nerdist, which is partnered with the Geek and Sundry, and there are, there's other technical geek sites out there, but nobody deals with Dungeons Dragons and board games and nerd geek culture as strongly as Nerdist and Geek and Sundry.
We're working on it. We're coming for you guys.
Hey, do it.
I think we're a little ways off though.
Do
Our
it. All
writer, our
competition is
writers are
healthy.
great. Our writers are great, but we got a little ways to go yet. We're the new kids on the block, and it's so cool when you and others mention us over there. It's still a huge thrill for me as a content creator. Um, to see Nerdarchy's name up there with Geek and Sundry, that's crazy. Or even still, even when people will mention us alongside Critical Role, I'm like, I think that's like two different. They're epic
Yeah.
level. We're still working on it here.
There's plenty of places that have been online longer than Critical Role. You know, it's just that they've got the exposure, and it's one of the things that I know that the other writers at Geek and Sundry love to share is being able to signal boost the things that we love. I mean, that's what geek culture and being a nerd is about. You know, we've got all of these things that we geek over. Let's just bring them all into one place, and that's what Felicia Day and Geek and Sundry have done.
Yeah, it's definitely an awesome thing. What piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to write for like the Nerdist or Geek and Sundry?
Um, Learn how to write. If you can't put proper sentences together and words and that discipline, that's you're not going to get beyond that. And thankfully, I had the U.S. Army and have been working on that ever since. Um, you'll never perfect it, I don't think, and I don't think I'll ever be any grandiose writer, multi-million seller or anything like that. I just love sharing the things that I love myself. But yeah, learn how to write, and then just stay at it, keep at it. Find out the places that are actively looking for writers that want to share what you've got to say, and be passionate about when you write. Be passionate about sharing the things that you like, and as you know, if that passion comes through, and you can put that out in your words, what you write, how you write, that should get you definitely started.
So, staff writer Doug, and also one of our patrons, had asked a question over on the Patreon page, and you've kind of like covered some of this stuff, and I got it over here in the chat. What tips or advice would you offer to a journalist covering nerd culture in terms of crafting content, reaching audiences, and networking? So I feel like, crafting content, you kind of went over that.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you kind of gave your background on how you got started. But, as far as networking and reaching different audiences, what advice would you specifically give there? And you were actually a journalist for the military, and now you're kind of covering nerd and geek culture.
Mhm.
Are there differences between those two realms?
Okay, first off, I would say you want to find out pick one thing. Start with one thing that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, like take Dungeons and Dragons or role playing games or anything like that, and keep you a notebook of things that interest you. Um, be cognizant of the thoughts that are going on in your head, what you like, how you like it, why you like it. How would you tell somebody else um, what you like about that, how you like it, why do you like it, and then find the other people that you want to tell that to. Um, Look online. You've got all your social media. Uh, get your good contacts up. Find the people who are sharing those same ideals, and then engage them in conversation. And then and if it's mostly writing conversation, you're texting each other, whatever like that. What you're doing is essentially writing an article. So just take that same mechanics of telling somebody what you think about this thing that you like, and then turn it into an article, and then find the people and places who are willing to pay you and who are willing to publish those articles. And as far as differences between military and geek culture, yeah, there's some serious differences.
Well,
Uh,
let me clarify that. I mean, obviously there's different. I mean, your approach to journalism, is it different for those for those different areas?
yeah, as a reporter in the Army, it was all about pretty much newspaper reporting. I wrote for newspapers for some magazines, Army content that we had, and it was always there's a certain style. You've got the inverted pyramid uh, style of writing. That's what you have to do, and it's facts and it's numbers and it's AP style. It's getting I'm not going to say dry, but being more uh,
Clinical?
yeah, clinical. That's it. Yeah, good word. Good word. Here with geek culture, and the way that I approach it, that I prefer, found out that it works better for me is if I'm sitting across a table or a desk or a dinner table or something like that, having a conversation with one of my best friends about things that we like. And I wouldn't talk in a military reporting style to that person. I would talk like I'm a geek culture type to that person. And so that's the difference in the writing, and the difference in how I approach that writing.
Doug kind of like summed up his own question in the chat with cooperative instead of competitive. I feel
True,
like
true. Yeah, that'll work to an aspect.
so. Comic Book University asks, and he uses a word that I'm not familiar with here. Uh, does Jim ever go out on biovac to get inspiration for a campaign?
Bivouacs. Yeah, it's military training exercises. Um, I will take walks. I will take, just get out to being able to clear the head. But one of the things one of the reasons I knew I wanted to write professionally about Dungeons and Dragons, one of the reasons that I pursued it for so long to be able to do it, was because that I noticed that I never seemed to run out of D&D ideas or RPG ideas. Now, as far as when I was in the military, I'd have to search and look around for what to write about or how to write it on this angle, this aspect, and things. But D&D, because I've been writing it since 1980, I've been playing the game. I've played multiple other RPGs. I've read thousands of books. I've seen thousands of movies. All that fantasy, that sci-fi, all that is already in my head, and it's there. I just can't seem to get rid of it. And the only release I have for it is to be able to write. I've never had a problem being able to come up with any kind of an idea. Now I still search. I still spend a good amount of time looking around at different ideas, searching online, trying to find some interesting people, looking at Twitch channels, who's playing D&D the most interesting way, or who's got some kind of a good different spin that they're working with their game. I look and see who's going for, who's got the newest good podcast, good D&D or RPG podcast going on. I look at maps, and I still look for those ideas, but I already have an idea of what I'm looking for when I'm doing it.
Speaking of maps, Snipathis, I don't know. There's a lot of consonants in the wrong place there, in my opinion. But he wants to know about the map behind you.
That's Skyrim. Skyrim, man. That's my Skyrim map right there.
So I am actually not versed in Skyrim because he asked, he can't tell if it's Demasis or not.
Yeah, it's the wall there is kind of about 8 feet behind me there. So yeah, that's my Skyrim map. I've got D&D Adventures League over there. I've got a couple other maps. I've got some Fallout posters. I've got some Lord of the Rings posters. Various other things hanging around the apartment here.
And Staff Writer Scott's got a pretty good question for you. It's much less crazy than his usual questions. I usually have more ideas than I have time to write. Any tips for picking the best of a list of your own ideas? What criteria do you use to choose what not to write?
What not to write? I will use Trello. That has been a very good tool for me. If you look up Trello, it is a I don't know exactly what you call it. It's kind of like a mind map, like a mind board, an idea board. Go to Trello.com, I believe. Yeah, Trello.com.
Also, if you probably just search up mind mapping, there's tons of like free software you can find.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll find, and you can experiment with the ones, all the ones that are out there, and find the one that works for you, works best for you. Trello is the one that I found. I also tried Flow, and it worked pretty well, but I prefer Trello because of the card things. And so I will I will just compartmentalize the ideas that I have. Okay, it's like I've got all these RPG ideas. All right, which ones deal with NPCs? Which one deals with PCs? Which ones deal with overall world building? And Trello will allow you to categorize those, and then you can look at them right in front of your eyes instead of having them all jumbled up in your head. Because if you're like me, you've got all these thoughts going in there, and you need some way to figure it out, how to clear out the signal noise so that you can see what you're looking at. Trello will do that for you. And once you get that, figure out, okay, well, I've got 15 note cards on this idea, I've got 3 on this idea, and I've got 5 on this one. Looks like the 15 has the most content that I can work with. So let me plug on that one first, and then I'll go down the line from that.
I'm picturing Scott using this tool, and it's going to end up looking like the wall from the Justice League Unlimited from The Question.
Right. I've got my Trello board. If you could see it, I can't share it, but it is packed full of. I've got probably anywhere like 50 different cards on it right now. 50 different boards, and they're all just got full of cards and stuff. So, but it does help. It does help. You can go in at any time, and then once you have those ideas out there and they're somewhere else, you can step back and you go for a walk and say, okay, well, I've got all of this. Your mind is a lot more calmer. It's able to pick up on follow those lines of thought that you want to follow that seem like they might be the most lucrative or the best ones to follow a lot easier.
So Paul Turner has another question for you too, and I guess I'll grab that one in a second. But you also, you mentioned the callus on your finger. So do you still do a lot of writing with pen and paper?
Oh yeah, I keep notebooks handy all the time. I've got 12, 13 down here now. I keep notebooks for my role playing, for all the a separate notebook for all the MMORPGs I play, because I've got my characters outlined. I've got their quests. I've got their personalities. I've got motivations. I've got physical descriptions and things of all set. I keep notebooks on war games that I play because some of the war games that I play, the turns can take 1 to 2 hours. So I'm tracking all. I've got this unit over here on this left flank, and I want to take my rangers, and I want to do them with them over here, and I keep all those written down. Yeah, I still do a lot of handwriting, but I do a lot more like I said, with Trello. I've got Google Docs. I've got Google Notes, or Google Keep, and I've got other things, on here that I keep online. So yeah, but I still do a lot of handwriting.
I kind of moved away from handwriting when I started gaming from my laptop, and then
Mhm.
but then we started filming from the laptop, so I had to go back
Took
to
it away.
writing.
Right.
I had to go back to writing because the laptop was on the other side of the room with the camera. So
Yeah.
full
Yeah. I
circle.
only have one. I only have one monitor right now, so I would love to have another laptop or something on the separate. But when I'm in full screen in a game and I get immersed, the last thing I want to do is to unimmerse from that, and then have to look at to close the game down and then look at some kind of a notes. So I keep a notebooks handy for those purposes like that.
Yeah, staff writer Doug Trello rocks. So you got some fans already out there for Trello. Paul Turner asks, "Does Jim write Skyrim cops?" I'm not sure if that's something specific that
No, no. I've written the only Skyrim I've written. Well, I did a D&D tips that you can learn from Skyrim. I think I tweeted that out early this morning or last night or something like that. But when Skyrim first came out, I got the um, Master Edition with the whatever the hell you call it there, the limited edition or whatever the top. But I wrote I was writing for Gamefront, and I wrote the walkthrough for the side missions, for a number of the side missions on that. And I would love to do some more professional Skyrim writing, because I'm still playing it. The game's still going, and I get a lot of D&D ideas from it. And the game is just, it's just one of those games that I could write about for forever.
So what is the ratio that you're writing like video games to tabletop games now?
Right now, it's more tabletop games. It's more D&D, and that's been so for the last year.
Now, is that a personal choice? Is that because that's the kind of writing that you've been kind of tapped for? Is it demand? I can't imagine that tabletop role playing games is outstripping the demand for video games, but video gamers may not read as much. So
Right. I wrote for a website called Armchair General for 12 years. When it launched to when it got sold. It's still going, but not near as good as what it used to be in its heyday. And I wrote. We covered war games, we covered strategy, tactical, combat games, and so for those 12 years, I wrote primarily video games. I also wrote for MMORPG.com. I wrote for a couple other different websites, Gamefront, and stuff. It was mostly video games. So once that part of my career ended, I was still wrote about some video games every once in a while. Did a lot of role playing aspects of video games, and but then fourth edition launched, and I saw everybody was rekindling their love for D&D. For me, it had never died. Still playing. I was in Alabama at the time. I got a new group playing, two new players, never played D&D before. Got them introduced, and then it's like, yeah, there's that fire is coming back, to being able to want to write some more D&D stuff. So I began searching that, and once I found different outlets for it, I started hitting them up and turning role playing in video games into what I used to write for, role playing in tabletop games, and D&D was my first progression. I tried to get in touch with Geek and Sundry there for a couple times. Found a back door, come in on the 6th, lined up my target, was able to find someone who helped me get in there in the website, and been writing about the D&D stuff. So it's uh, you want to be able to stay flexible and follow the what seems to be the waves, the cycle that writing goes in geek culture. Uh, it's not really a big problem because geeks can geek out about anything, and so there's always something to write about. You just need to figure out which one that you are best suited for and which one you're most passionate about.
So I'm going to jump into the chat for our roll call. So guys, if you want to sound off where you're from, we got Nerdarchy in Jersey, we got South Dakota in the house,
Well,
and so we had talked about this a little bit, but really it keeps coming up over and over again. Like if you want to do something, and you're not the only guy, the first guy to come on here and say it, and they're kind of like starting to parrot it in the chat, is just go out there and do it. Be persistent. And like, how long did it take you to get your first article onto Geek and Sundry? Like, how long did you work that angle?
that was about it was within a month. It was about three to 4 weeks.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
from when I first made contact, when I was first introduced to the person I needed to contact, until first article, it's about 4 weeks or so. Yeah.
Okay, I want to go back a little bit further, like to when you first had your I want to write on Geek and Sundry.
Oh, that was about 2 years. Yeah, that was over a course of about 2 years. I was following, like I said, I followed the site from when it launched. Joined the forums, found out, followed them on Twitter. All the top people that are involved with it. And so I would just send out, a little signal here and there. I'm looking for a writer. Who's in charge of the writers? Can somebody, ping me towards somebody that I want to pitch an article to, or something like that. That was over the course of about 2 years.
So yeah, again, persistence. It's all
Right.
about setting your sights on something and just going after it relentlessly until it
Right.
happens. Pretty much.
And being in the military also helped me with game planning, with having a plan, a certain course of action that I knew. My experience as a writer before that had allowed me to know, okay, well, to kind of skip some landmines, or some different obstacles, to know which was a better path than which wasn't a not so great path. That helped a lot. But have your good little plan in action, and then keep it flexible, and then just keep at it. Yeah.
And I find too, like the one piece of advice I would throw out there is, when you want to do something and you want to get with the people that are doing it, make it about them. Don't talk about you. Nobody cares. But people love to talk about what they're doing and themselves. And
Right.
then ultimately, when you're networking, that is the best way to get closer to people, is be invested in them and care about what they're doing.
Very true. I saw that Geek and Sundry had their tabletop and specifically their D&D content coming up, and I knew the passion that I had for D&D, and I saw what they were doing with it, and I was like, yeah, that to me matches up. So all I had to do was like, hey, I see you guys have some good D&D content coming up there. I'm really passionate about the D&D, and I'd love to show you, help that passion come through your website, and help you draw some readers in, and in turn I would be a benefit from that also.
It's awesome. So we got Doug, staff writer Doug in Cleveland, Andrew in Corpus Christi, Brian, New York City. We got
I used to live in Corpus Christi.
Fraginator in Washington State. We got Kurt in Canada. Comic Book University, Fort Benning, although he's in Canada right now by way of Asbury Park.
I'm very familiar with Fort Benning.
We got Rob in Seattle, Megan, Ohio. We got Paul, Pittsburgh, Devin, who's in Portland, and we had a jump.
Nice.
The chat will jump on me every once in a while.
Right.
We got John in Jacksonville. Yeah, we got people all over the place. We got First Watch in Tampa. We got Paul in Alabama.
That's where I'm from.
We got Cody in Oklahoma. Intern Kyle. He's in Jersey with us. We got
So you guys are in Jersey, right?
Yeah, we're in Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. We got Jimmy in Ventura. We got Regilio in Utah.
We're
going all over the place. We got Orange Lavoyer with Orange, California. Mr. Rob's cleaning service, Oregon.
Nice.
We got us. All right. So this is what always happens. We got Hawaii in the house as well with Jacob.
I haven't yet been to Hawaii. I need to get out there, man. Need to get out there.
I've never been to Hawaii actually.
I've covered 29 of the states so far. I've got 22 countries behind me also, but only 29 of the states. Still have a lot to see.
We got some Massachusetts in the house. We got Edmonton, Alberta in the house. More
Okay.
Hawaii in the house.
Nice. I need to get up to Canada too. I think I'm the closest I've ever been to Canada. I don't remember how close Fort Dix is to Canada, actually. That's over in your part.
Yeah. Fort Dix. My wife actually worked on Fort Dix civilian
Yeah.
for 10 years.
Cool. Yeah.
She was on there. And she basically worked in the housing, so she housed all the unaccompanied soldiers that would come in.
Okay.
So wrangling cats.
Yeah, I think Fort Dix in here is probably the closest I've been to Canada so far.
Yeah. Hey, in Logan, don't they go through Dakota to get to Canada? I don't know
Yeah,
if
there's a major highway over here to my east. I think they hit straight up there. Goes through Fargo and straight up that way.
Comic Book University. He would know. He's our in-house authority on all things comic book.
Well, now I have spent a little time in Portland and Seattle, so that's probably a little closer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've probably only have hit about a half a dozen states, and I've been the well. I briefly buzzed through Mexico for a day, and then when we went on the cruise, and then I've been to Costa Rica, that was amazing.
Yeah, I was down there as a kid. I've also done some training in Mexico. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, we actually almost got stranded in Mexico when we did the comic book cruise.
Yeah.
My wife has a friend that moved to Mexico, and we were in Cozumel, which is an island. So we took a ferry
Right.
back to the mainland to hang out, and we literally just caught the last ferry before our boat would be leaving. We were literally the last ones on the ship.
Okay.
But I'm like, babe, we got plenty of time. We got like another 6 minutes. And at the time, my son wanted to get something for his girlfriend, and my wife is like, "Well, let's stop and get something." I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. We literally had 6 minutes left when we got on the boat.
Yeah.
So good times, good times. What's going on vacation without at least one adventure?
Right. You've got to have something to remember.
Yeah. Oh man. So what is do you have any dream piece that you'd want to work on that you haven't done yet? What would be the article that you haven't written yet that you would love to?
The article that I haven't written yet.
Or to interview somebody?
Yeah, I would love to two-part. I would love to be able to get some of the D&D luminaries at a table and introduce them to a campaign that I had created, and then do like a campaign blog. So probably not one article, or maybe that some excerpts of that could be printed somewhere, but yeah, do a full campaign blog and write their adventures in a good book story format, something like that.
Well, you can do that now, but I think you mean you want to get paid to do it.
Yes, I'd love to get paid to do it, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be tantamount. Be pretty nice. I've never put any much serious thought in about one article that I would love to write. I mean, Gygax and Arneson, that would be the interview that I would love to have, but that was too late.
One of those is going to require a seance.
Yeah, it's just so.
So, do you have any college background?
No college. Nope. I went straight into the Army right out of high school. 88. I graduated high school, 2 weeks later, I got married, and then 2 weeks later, left for the rest of the year in Army training.
Well, and
So,
just from listening to your story, I'm like, well, that's something that I didn't hear. So I think it's a really important piece too for folks out there that want to get into writing, want to get into journalism, that there's actually ways for them to do it.
yeah.
That
Now, when I was transferring from the Army to the National Guard, I did go to DINFOS, which is the Department of Defense Information School up in Baltimore, Fort Meade, Maryland. And so that was a months long course to learn how to become an Army reporter and photographer. But that's not an official, college. That's a Department of Defense school, and that's the only collegiate close to atmosphere that I've ever been in. And we did things that they don't do in college unless you go to West Point or someplace like that. I had to get up in the morning, 05, do your PT, clean your rooms, inspection ready, and then because I was a higher rank than and prior service, I had to be in charge of a few of the incoming troops that had just come out of basic training. And had to be an example for them. So, and then it was we marched to class, marched from class. The chow halls were regulated, in uniform all the time. So that's probably the closest I've been.
well, which is fine because you're doing it, right? It doesn't matter how we get where we're going if we get
Yep.
there. And I just think it's fascinating that to have you on because it does show another path. It shows people that there isn't just one way of doing this. And,
That's correct.
if college is one way, military is another, then there's probably other ways as well. So,
There are many.
as long as you're ambitious and you're willing to work your ass off, you can go out there and you can do it, put in the work,
Absolutely.
develop the
I
skill
agree.
set, which is awesome. In the chat, they're going crazy about how to get, I think, zombie Gygax to the table.
Zombie Gygax. That's an adventure. Yeah, we could turn that into something.
I'm not sure zombie Gygax is going to be a very good interview, though.
No, you probably want to keep that to a homebrew episode or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think zombie, Ghost Gygax would be much better. I think ghosts have a little bit higher capacity than zombies.
Well, somebody needs to come up with a stat block on that. So you've got some enterprising person out there in your audience. Come up with a zombie Gygax stat block, and let's see it.
Well, they did do the shy LeBeau zombie. I don't know if you've seen that one going around.
No, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one.
If you Google it, I'm sure it'll come up. It's pretty hilarious.
Okay. If anybody gets that, feel free to social media it to me.
Tweet it at him. And for anyone joining late, all of Jim's social media stuff is in the description. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. Do you want to talk about is it Power Word Pub?
Power Word Pub, yes. It's Power Word Publication, actually. I just had to shorten it there because it seems to flow a little better. Yeah, flows a little better. Well, you're getting an exclusive here. It's officially open as of this recording right now. I've been working on it I've had thoughts in my head for, I don't know, 6-8 months. I've been pinking at it here, plinking at it there for a couple of weeks. And what it is, there are since the arrival of DM's Guild, and since I've been watching and connecting with the Drive-Through RPG, the RPG Now, Tabletop Library, those places that where you can create your own RPG content and then publish it, and specifically in DM's Guild because it's D&D content. I see some misspellings and some strange, let's put it, strange sentence arrangements. The grammar Nazi in me is coming out, and I would just like, that would look so much better if you would just, if the word was spelled correctly for one, but rearrange the sentence like this, give it a little flair, put some passion into it. And so since that's been going on, it's just been an idea been pumping around in my head. It's like, it's time I need to do that. So if anybody who is creating their RPG content for Dungeons and Dragons, for Pathfinder, for Tunnels and Trolls, Numenera, doesn't matter, whatever, and you want to have somebody, a professional, somebody look at it, give it a good proofreading, give it a good copy editing, somebody who does writing for a living, and you want to look over what you've written, and to make sure that the content you're about to publish with your name on it is looks as good as it can look, then let me know. That's what Power Word Publishing is. That's what I aim to do with the company. I'm going to. It's writing. It's editing service. I'm going to get into publishing soon, sometime. Trademark soon. And I'm going to be publishing my own content, my own D&D content. But to start off, I want to be able to offer that services, the writing, editing services, to the people who are already doing it, so that when they publish something out there with their name on it, it's as clean, it looks good, it reads well, and so that they can get the most benefit and higher sales, of course, from their content, and be proud, of something that they put up there.
That's a very tight niche to go after for editing.
It is, but I don't see anybody else. I don't see anybody else doing it, and I've looked over it for, like I said, about 8 months. I've been, kind of studying it, watching it, and looking, and I've seen no one else offer those services specifically for them. Now there are publishers out there who were publishers before, and now they're just transferring what they're doing over into DM's Guild and things. But they already have a team of writers. They already have, those people who are professionally doing it. There are a lot of indie writers who don't. And so now you do.
Yeah, even all the best third-party guys, even if they don't do it in-house, they send it out to somebody for that. So yeah, it makes sense. So what's the game plan for getting the word out? Are you able to like advertise on, any of those places that you mentioned?
I'm looking into that right now, but what I've got right now is just it's a Google. I'm operating off of Google Plus right now, and so you can look up. I think it's connected to my Twitter. So you've got the Power Word Pub Twitter is down below in the show notes. So if you go to Power Word Pub on Twitter, my Google Plus, I believe, is connected from there. And that's where I'm going to be operating from until I have the funds where I can open up a full-time website to get that going. And I'm just going to be dropping into these places, the Google social medias and DM's Guild and those other websites, stores. And hey, looks like you could use some writing editing services in here. You interested? I've been doing this. I've been writing and editing. Excuse me. RPG content since 1980. I've got a little bit of experience behind me. I love to put that experience to work for you, and let's see how that works.
We would be more than happy to help try and get the word out for you.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to. I'll have to remember to mention it in our weekly wrap. I'll have to make a note somewheres. Where's my PA at?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like I said, it's just now officially. I'm just announcing it here on with this stream. I thought I'd probably announce it a little later, but this is a good opportunity. I've got the basics of what I need in place. There's still some things I want to do. I'm going to get a better piece of artwork, because what I've got now is just something I found on a little graphic I found online by just doing some simple searches. I want to get something professionally done, but that'll come once I get the funds to do that. The same with the website. Maybe some advertising later on, but just doing what I'm doing, talking with fellow geeks and getting the word out there. Social media, that's how I've been operating. That's how I've got my writing around for the last since 2003, and it works well. It's what I know best. So I'm gonna keep going with until I can't do it anymore.
Going on 15 years, I would say it's working.
14 years or so.
Yeah. If you're able to feed yourself and put a roof over your head,
I can
it
do that. Yeah.
seems to be working for you.
There's a lot of
Awesome.
other things I don't want to do, but yeah, that's what Power Word Pub is right now, and it'll become a little more as time goes on. But right now, I'm focused on the the most immediate missions that I've got to accomplish and to get those done.
Do you have anything coming up in the near future where people can look for you? Any articles that have written but haven't gone out yet, but are scheduled?
Just had one published this morning. At about 08, I think, is when that went out. The timestamp on that one. Yeah, I've got. You look on Geek and Sundry. Hopefully, you guys everyone's following Geek and Sundry on Twitter and Google Plus, Facebook, wherever you want to follow it at. My latest article is how to roll a Dungeons and Dragons Spec Ops A team. And what I've done is I've taken the concepts of how a Green Beret Special Ops A team is built and transferred those into how you could do the same with a Dungeons and Dragons group party. It's just a brief, it's because of word count. It's not everything that I wanted to say in it, but that's my latest interesting article I've got up. Um, let's see, there's stackup.org, which is one of the charities I follow and strongly support because they help support the military, and because this month is National Military Appreciation Month. They've got a call to arms on 19 to 21 May that I will be supporting. You'll probably see me on maybe all that weekend on my Twitch channel. I'll be doing some military hardcore games, so come over there and watch me do that. And then just keep in touch with me on social media. I'm always on there, so reach out. You've got questions, you've got comments, you've got a story idea you think that you're doing or somebody else is doing you think might be worth pitching to someplace and getting an article written about it. Reach out and touch. Let me know.
Awesome. I have to, and I have to thank staff writer Doug for putting me in touch with you indirectly, by showing us the Geek and Sundry article and checking that out. It was cool. And I really just don't follow as much content creators as I would like to.
There are a lot of them out there, and I tell you, it gets difficult
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, is you're busy. You can either follow it or create it. It's very difficult to do both sometimes.
Yeah, I've got probably looks like 24 Twitter lists of RPG, D&D, geek content, all separated out that I follow. And yeah, but it still gets confusing.
Absolutely. Plus, I got to give the wife and kids some time as well. They start getting antsy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, and also speaking to the PT, and I'm supposed to start training with my son over the summer. He, he just recently got involved with sports and stuff.
Nice.
Over this past year, he swam in the winter. He did track and field, throwing shot over the fall here into the spring. Well, yeah, into the spring here, and he wants to run track in the fall. So I think he's just discovered girls, really, to be honest with you. He just wants to get in shape, and he figures if he he's 16, he figures if he just joins all these sports, it'll make him work out.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can relate to that. But yeah, geeky, healthy, being a healthy geek is one of those things that I do geek about. I always wasn't always a healthy geek. Wasn't always healthy, especially growing up as I did. My situation back in as a kid, and the Army turned that around for me. Martial arts also helped. Can't say that lightly enough. But the Army taught me how to be regimented about it. And every morning, 05, I'm up. I do my PT, do my yoga, stretch out. Keep that going. Especially when you sit in front of a desk all day, it's imperative that you stay healthy.
No, absolutely. Do you still do martial arts?
I still do martial arts. Yep. That also started in 1980, so 37 years I've been a martial arts student on that.
Oh, what do you study?
Right now I'm just trained on my own, but I've studied Wing Chun, Wan Hap Kendo, Taekwondo, Ishinru, Wado Ryu, Aikido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, The year I spent in Korea, I trained in authentic Taekwondo, not the American style Taekwondo. Just wherever I could get the martial arts, wherever I could get my hands on it, I've been able to study it. But primarily was karate and Wing Chun. When I reported to Fort Bragg for my first duty station, and for the 9 years, yeah, close to 9 years after that, was they had a Wing Chun school there, and I studied. So,
I was very inconsistent, but from like 16 to 26, I studied different things, off and on. And I just recently went back to just studying Tai Chi. A buddy of mine actually teaches China, Wing Chun, and Tai Chi.
Yeah.
And I'll actually plug him here. It's Enter Shaolin, Enter Tai Chi on YouTube. And they also have a website. And he actually does a online Kung Fu course, essentially. And the No Doc No is the system that was developed by his teacher, where they teach Wing Chun from, essentially.
Right.
And it's I think the motto is feel the force, don't force the feel. And they're very heavily into the sensitivity training.
Yep.
and focus on energy manipulation.
Yep. That's the basis aspects of Chin Na. Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah,
send me that link. Send me that link after we finish here, so I can look that up.
Oh, absolutely, will do. So we are right around the hour mark. Yeah, it goes by fast.
Oh, wow, nice. Okay.
Yeah, well, we had RPG Crate on yesterday, and prior, he's like, "Hey, can you send me the questions beforehand so there's no dead space?" I'm like, we don't really do it that way.
Yeah, no.
I'd have to actually write you some questions first. But
I watched half of that. And then I went back and watched the one you did before with Julie, the cartographer.
Priscilla.
Priscilla. My mistake. Yeah. Excellent. That was an excellent interview. And I also went and watched her YouTube videos. Good stuff. Checked out her website. Yeah, really good stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, this has been a lot of fun for me to just get different people on there and chat with them and talk. And I find, like, when you get people that are into nerdy and geeky stuff, like, the conversation just flows, and there isn't a whole lot. Every once in a while we grab questions from either the patrons or from the chat, and it just goes by before you know it. It's been an hour. Yeah. So, but with that, I won't detain you any longer. I appreciate you coming on,
man. No worries.
Everyone, take a look in the description. Once again, check Jim out. Thanks again for the shout outs. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Till next time, stay nerdy.
Stay safe.